And I thought we'd start the story by having a look at, from last week, we looked a little bit at this, is Nicola Willis has an idea to show us tax receipts and get them printed in a certain way.
Unless they get the robots to do it.
Can I just add there, I reckon AI could do it.
Yeah.
We are.
So they're talking about having policy being done by AI. And now you've probably all seen this.
The whole campaign is done by AI.
Whole campaign. In fact, we probably should double check. I've never seen. Oh, you have actually. You have seen Mr. Luxon in real life, haven't you? I haven't seen him in real life. I was thinking maybe he's AI as well.
Oh,
we can
yeah,
talk
we
about
have,
that.
have we talked about that?
Talk about that. So let's talk about this first. So there is a bunch of stuff on the social media networks of National, and this is one of them that came out yesterday. Name 2 things people are sick of. It's funny how they say 2 people things are sick of, and Fast X, I think is what it's called, will be one of the biggest movies of the year. So how wrong are they
This
again?
is dumb on so many levels.
Even if you're not a fan of the Fast and the Furious, and to be honest, I probably watched the first couple and haven't watched them since. This movie will be in the Marvel universe of money it's taken in. And the National Party thinks that no one's interested in this Fast and Furious movie. So that's wrong to start with. And then he says, these 2 taxing you. Now, this obviously doesn't look quite right. I can't quite zoom in. Can I zoom in? Oh, I can zoom in. Oh, it's doing that funny thing for me. Everyone looks a bit off. So as I said this earlier this evening, TV3 asked, it was really random. I was watching the press conference. It wasn't a press conference. It was like a scrum where this question was asked. And I said, why are they asking that question? So I went Googling for it and I couldn't find any information about AI and National. And then it all came out tonight. So like I said earlier, this is the lead story on TV3 tonight, is about National using AI in their social media posts. Let's have a look at the story and then we'll have a little bit of a korero about it, because there's some interesting kind of shoot-off conversations to be had by it.
E ngai iwi tēnā koutou katoa. The National Party has admitted using artificial intelligence to create fake photos for its political attack ads.
But it appears no one looped in Christopher Luxon, who earlier today denied the use of AI when Newshub...
It's actually not, you'll see Newshub again not being particularly accurate. He didn't deny it. He said, I have no idea. He said, I don't think so. He said, talk to someone else. So it's a bit of a whatever you call it, when they try and catch you with a headline, because he didn't actually deny it, really. You'll see.
Showed him the ads. Here's political editor Jenna Lynch.
The Fast, the Furious, and the National Party attack ad. Hang on, something looks a bit off here.
This Fast and Furious, are they the real Fast and Furious actors?
I'm not sure. All I'd say on that one is I think dissing Fast and Furious isn't really acceptable. You know, I've modelled my look on Vin Diesel.
But that's not Vin Diesel, that's artificial intelligence.
Is National using artificial intelligence in their attack ads?
No, not that I'm aware of, no.
Actually, they are. It's not just mock-ups of mega movie franchises. Take a scroll back through social media and National's confirmed to Newshub there's AI-generated nurses. These robbers were made by robots, and this crime victim, virtual too.
There's a crime victim in this one.
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Okay.
National leader Christopher Luxon in the dark about the dark arts of AI politics.
I don't
Do you
know.
know if you're using artificial
I don't know.
intelligence at all?
We'd have to talk to our team.
And whether or not the party was using AI to avoid
Nobody said it would be easy.
100%.
yet another copyright drama.
Oh, we think it's pretty legal.
The use of the Eminem-esque song was not pretty legal at all.
Is National trying to avoid copyright with their artificial intelligence advertising?
Look, I don't know about the topic in the sense of I'm not sure you're making an accusation that we are using it. I'm not sure that we are.
Artificial intelligence is a looming political problem. Check out this Republican ad out of the US. It's made entirely of AI-generated images. It's become such a concern that a US lawmaker has introduced a bill that would require disclosure of AI-generated content in political ads.
Does Labor use AI to generate imagery for its ads?
Not that I'm aware of.
Now, note, Chippy said exactly the same thing as Luxon.
Yeah, it's almost exactly the same thing. Yeah.
Except they've said Luxon wasn't aware, and it's like he denied it, but they said exactly the same thing. We got to be fair. Fair is fair. Yeah, they beat up on Luxon a bit with that. It wasn't accurate.
Would you?
To be honest, it's not something I've ever looked at.
Time to look at it. The future is now.
So, Jenna, has National broken any rules here?
I spoke to a copyright law expert who told me that by
No.
using AI,
That's the
National's
answer, no.
probably in the clear because they haven't actually touched any copyrighted material. And while National's use of these images is relatively harmless, there are concerns about the potential slippery slope of AI, that we don't want New Zealand politics descending into the world of deep fakes, videos made to look like real life people saying things or doing things that they haven't actually done. National sent us through a statement saying that the use of AI to create stock images was an innovative way to drive content for their social media, and as with all of their social media, they are committed to using AI responsibly, while Labour's campaign manager says they will not be touching artificial intelligence because they want to run a, quote, honest and upfront campaign. And therein lies the potential political problem for National. Labour is well aware of Luxon's trust issues, as evidenced in our News Hub poll at the beginning of the year, and they've been making hay with the line, "You can't trust National." Using fake imagery hardly conjures up feelings of trust. That plays directly into Labour's attack line.
Yep, and that's all fair and true and accurate. Let me just go back and bring up the image because it's a better zoom than the one that I had, this one here. So there's two things. The first thing is, and I think it's been talked about in the chat as well, should Luxon know? Or is it, look, I've never been in this level of sort of business or politics where you have that many moving parts. Is it just you hand it off to the boffins in the department who look after although as we saw that billboard in Auckland, they don't look after their design particularly well, but the boffins who look after their design just leave it up to them and you don't worry about it. That's the first thing. Should Luxon know? And the second thing is, there's nothing wrong with this. Like, there's nothing nefarious or illegal or whatever, but the question is, using AI, where could it go? What could someone do with it, like they're doing in America? And this is really no different from a stock image. I mean, if you've got a stock image of all these people, like a bald man in a black t-shirt and that kind of stuff, you could probably put it together looking similarly from using stock imagery. That wouldn't be using AI. It would be doing the same sort of thing, though, as well. Or you could just have the car and you could do the same sort of thing. So this image in itself, in my opinion, is not a particular big deal. However, Labour now being able to attack them on not being honest or not using truthful images, completely true. So it hasn't been thought through well, even though technically there's probably nothing they've done wrong. And where could it go? That's what I'm wondering, Chewy.
Yeah, I think it's lazy and cheap, and very murky ethically. So absolutely perfect for the National Party. But yeah, on the other, like, yeah, it's one of the most popular movies. Like it or not, it's one of the most popular movies in the world at the moment. So obviously people aren't sick of it. That's stupid. I'm also just really not a fan of this style of attack ad. Like the other images that they used of smash and grab jewelry robbers and the home invasion things of like, New Zealand is not safe under Labour. Like, it's just shit. I would prefer if all parties kind of avoided this sort of heavily attack focused. Like we've talked about it before. Tell me why you're good for the country more than why the other lot aren't.
Let me add something in here, actually, because you bring that up and I'm thinking as you're talking, because that's what you do to me, Joey. Actually, the smash and grab image does feel a bit more egregious because that's actually talking about something that has happened in shops around New Zealand, but it's not a real image. That feels more egregious than the Fast X one, because what they're doing is they're putting that image out there as a possibility of this happening in New Zealand, but the image is fake. So actually that feels on a slightly different level to me than this does, because someone would look at that and go, this happened in a New Zealand shop, and it didn't. It's a fake photo. So that when they're actually depicting something that they say might happen, I think there's a different level of nefarious action. I think the Fast and Nefarious billboard is whatever, because there's nothing there.
I just think it's lame. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I just think it's fucking weak. But the healthcare one, okay, you're saying that you're going to do these amazing things for healthcare workers, but you can't literally take a camera, go out and find a couple of healthcare workers that want to pose happily smiling faces in front of your policy, or at least get get an advertising agency to go. Like, they've had so much trouble with shitty things happening online and really dubious memes and stuff like that. It's just like, you want to be seen as the competent government that can be trusted. You've just given us so many reasons why that isn't true. You know, you're not trustworthy. You're not competent. You can't run a campaign. You've given the keys to an AI image generator to a team of interns, and they've cracked out this.
Yeah.
It's you know, with the war chest that they've got, they can't afford to run a proper campaign.
I think it's appropriate actually for us to talk about the billboard in Ponsonby that we saw on Sunday night,
because
this is something else, right? And this is incredibly funny. Andrew, who sent a tweet through when we released what we were talking about tonight, Andrew says this: computer-generated campaign advertising mightn't be so bad if the AI National was using wasn't the CPU for Atari's 1972 game Pong, because you can see that image again. It looks pretty shoddy. That image there, it's pretty average. And one more part of this. Now, Chewy and I were sitting off Ponsonby Road on Sunday night having a beer and a burger, and there was a billboard across the road, probably, 20 metres long by 5 metres high, big long one. And all the spacing on the wording from National, what they were talking about, was all off. It was the worst. It was like they've given it to a person who sort of understands Photoshop a little bit but doesn't really know what they're doing, and they got it pretty close to being right but not quite right. And it actually echoes what Andrew said in this tweet, is that with the war chest that you just talked about, Chewy, why isn't their graphic design and stuff better? I mean, I'm not saying we're going to elect the party with the best graphic designer, but why is their graphic design so subpar? That just speaks to what? Investment, quality, no one in the arts industry wanting to work for National? What is it?
Yeah, I mean, you can spin that out so many different directions of why it's just so weak.